Just another manic Monday. Come on, I know we did this a couple weeks ago, but guess what? I think it was Sunday. Oh, yeah, because that was definitely a fun day. Come on, y'all. It's football Sunday, and it's also football Monday. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I feel good. I hope you feel good. And I know you're looking good, because I feel good. Gossip guys. So is that the world that we've gotten into where, we've gotten so much as men where, and I get it, the internet is a thing that always progresses, always has different trends, have different things going on. And we've talked about Dame Dash before in correlation to Jay-Z. And, that's typically how things go. It's something between the two of them. But Dame Dash just reported that he's filed for bankruptcy. He is $25 million in debt. And like I said, we've covered this before. But what does that kind of tell us? Because we're going to do this in two parts. This part, we're going to talk primarily about just the debt, I guess, that he is in. We talked about it earlier this year where he had to give up his third of a stake in Rockefeller. And then he also had to sell off some of his other stuff or have some of his stuff forfeited. You can, like I always tell you, you can go and YouTube it or Google it or whatever to find out the exact information. But for our purposes, what I want to talk about is like what a lot of us have done before. And that's living above our means. And so it's funny because like you date people, and I've done this before where since most times it's the man that's paying for things, $100 dates, $200 dates. And you hear me talk about that often because guys are the ones who have to be more meticulous with their money. They have to be more aware of what's going on. So like, say for instance, I'll give you for instance, a lot of times what I'll do is that throughout the course of the day, I'll check because that's like most of us, we have auto debits coming out, auto credits or whatever. So, because we have our bills coming out of our accounts. So you just want to always check on it. And even one of my credit cards I checked on and I was like, and I saw that it's the remaining credit that I still had available. And I was like, wait a minute. Did they drop my limit or something? But then when I started looking through all of the purchases, I started saying, oh, wow, dag, I did get this. Dag, I did order that. Dag, I did do this. So it's one of those things where you have to have constant accountability of what's going on with your money. Now, in the case of Dame Dash, because I know one thing he had, they even had Jay-Z had a song called Poppin' Tags. So that was one big thing that they always did was pop tags, and how he used to say, hey, look, I never wear the same t-shirt twice. You know what I mean? Pop the tags. That's it. We never wear the same pair Air Force Ones twice because after they get the crease in it, and I ain't going to lie to you, it made a lot of us not want to wear our Air Force Ones twice. And even now, still to this day, I barely even buy them because I know what comes along with that. After that time when you wear them and they're creased or that whiteness, that bright whiteness of it wears off, that's it. But let's talk about things on a larger level. So even when it comes down to, because Dame Dash, of course, was with Jay-Z and Biggs at Rockefeller, they made a lot of money. Some people estimated he may have made upwards of $200 million when I think Rockaware got sold. I believe he was given $20 million. Now, he has this thing also where he says, and this is a thing that I've heard other rich people say on the internet, because I don't know too many in real life, but what they say is that there's always a certain reinvestment of your money. So even if you got 10,000, you got 20,000, whatever you got, you don't just let it sit in the bank, because if you let it sit in the bank, what'll happen? It won't make any money. So people usually take, especially people who are high net worth, excuse me for this, I'm going to pull this down for a second. Especially people that are high net worth, typically what happens is that they have their money in diverse portfolios. So once again, I'm no financial advisor or anything like that, but just like friends of mine, I'll say, get a Roth IRA, a lot of times with 401ks, I know one of my 401ks, it goes up, it goes down, it goes all around. And on top of that, the job doesn't really match greatly the 401k. So, for every dollar you put in, they may put in 10 cents or whatever, 5 cents up to a certain point, and then they stop. And it's really just your money. So you have somebody who probably is in the know, like a Dame Dash, because he's had, other rich people around him, to be able to set things up in a way where your money can work for you. But even on a lower level, I remember I've been in this situation before where you think, oh, look, I got it all together. I'm sitting on 15 racks or $20,000, or, I know I could get my hands on this, or, I got $30,000 in credit, 15,000 here, 10,000 there, 5,000 there. And what happens is you do. A lot of times you go out, you start making different purchases. You're trying to do things to try to bring in more money. But what happens when those investments, or when those things that you try to invest in to hustle more, to make more money, what happens when they fail? I remember it happened to me several times. For me, it was cars. So I would go buy cars. I'd have 3-4 cars, sitting on the street, like when I didn't have a chance to put them into somebody's lot or do anything like that. And what happens is, especially living up here in the Northeast corridor, it'll start snowing. It gets cold. You can always count on it being in the 20s or 30 degrees during some point during the winter, or even the teens. So what would happen? A lot of times the batteries would die. The alternators would go. I would have to. So what I was doing was that, because typically when you sell a used car, you don't really have much room for error in it, because people want to talk you down a little bit. So you want to price it right so people can see it. So what happens is that, let's just say you want to make, I don't know, $1,500 per car. The person's going to talk you down. So now you may be at $1,200, $1,100 per car. Then now I had to replace an alternator and get somebody to do it. That's another $200. Now I'm down to $900 in profit. Oh, and then maybe I got to replace a battery. That's another $150. So now my $1,500 in profit has gone down to $850 in profit. Now, let's say if that keeps happening over and over again, or I decide to take that money that I've lumped together and say, hey, look, let me buy one $10,000 car or two $5,000 cars, so that way I can basically recoup some of the losses I had all in 1 or 2 shots and try to get it done. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me before. Failure with it. Because you start sitting back, and I always say to people, because I feel like this, I've had to learn this, that money is psychological. So if you're sitting on a product and it has $10,000 of your money tied, and let's just say $5,000 of your money tied into it, what happens is that you start to get a little worried, because you're like, yo, I got $5,000 tied into this just to try to make $6,500, $7,000, and it's not coming fast enough. So then you lower the price. Now you may only be making $500. Hey, it's still sitting there. Next thing you know, you got to lower the price again just to break even. But guess what? You got other bills coming in. You got this stuff going on. Kids got things going on. You got things you need to do. And so what happens? Now, that product or that car for me that I wanted to sell at a certain price point, now I'm losing money on it. Because I'm $5,000 all in on it, but nobody's biting. So now I lowered the $5,000. Now I'm getting more tread. Bang. Next thing you know, somebody comes, well, I got to do this. And I see right there, it's a cigarette hole. And I see right there, you know what I'm saying? Them tires right there. I got to get 2 new tires. What you want to do, dog? How much you want to give me? Can we do 38? No. I could do 42. So now I've lost. All right, cool, we good. Now I've lost another $800. So what happens in a situation like this? Now I have done everything, got this car, spent the time, haven't even paid myself for the time and effort that I spent in picking it up and bidding on it, and I still lost $800 on it. But because I need the money, because I need to recoup, what choice do I have? So you might say, well, Greg, what does that have to do with Dame Dash? What it has to do with is that he put out a lot of stuff. Like he has his network, America New. He tried, he still has an album out. He tried doing the rock band thing. He tried doing several other different things. He had Poppington clothing line, I think he may still have. I think he had a diary CEO show, Be the Next CEO or something on BET. A lot of different ventures that just didn't go anywhere because he was no longer aligned with the power of a Jay-Z. So money is funny because when you got it, you good. You know what I mean? I'm paying my bills on time. Uh-oh. No shut-off notices. Uh-oh. I can do this. Uh-oh. And on top of that, what happens is that the part that nobody tells us about or that a lot of us want to ignore is that when we hold on to a couple dollars and all our bills paid, now we think we have more money to play with. We have more money to go out with. We have more money to do this other kind of stuff with, when in reality, we probably really don't, but we still need that rush. We still need those endorphins to come through to say, hey, I'm the man. I'm sitting on 10. I got 15 in the bank. I got 15,000. Next thing you know, you got 8,000. Next thing you know, you pay some stuff, you're down to 4,000. Next thing you know, now you're down to 3,000. Now the sweat start coming down you, and you're like, oh, I'm down to $3,000 out of all that money. Oh my God. Now you're down to $1,200, and we know you can't do much with $1,200. Now can you? $1,200 probably won't get most of us through the next half a month. The average person is probably paying out anywhere from $2,500 to $3,500 to $4,500, depending on where you live at per month. Not including if you got kids. And that's the dilemma that Dame Dash has probably found himself in, where he's tried to prolong it for as long as he could. He's tried to say, hey, listen. But when somebody tells you that they're $25 million in debt, $25 million in debt, and he said something interesting in one of the interviews he did. Give credit to the Art of Dialogue. It was a pretty good episode. You should go check it out. But what happened was, he said, and I'm just paraphrasing because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said, unless you've had $10, $20 million worth of tax problems in that type of tax bracket, don't even speak on it because you don't know. And that's one thing I'll probably agree on with him with. That I have no idea. Probably will never have any idea what type of deal or situation you must be in to be in that type of tax debt. But that's where he finds himself at now. So I just say it to, like I always try to do, correlate it back to us. Be mindful of your spending. Be mindful where your money is going. I've made a lot of dumb mistakes. And guess what? I'm still learning. It's hard. It's hard not to spend. It's hard not to spend money, isn't it? It's hard not to say, hey, look, I just been looking all day. I've been looking all night. That's why these phones are the gift and the curse. I've been looking. Well, you know what? I do need me a pair of sneakers. I do need to treat myself. Because you know what? I ain't had none in a while. Let me go ahead and treat myself. Oh, yeah, I do need a newer car because although nothing's wrong with my current car, you know, the newer cars, they got, you know, the Bluetooth comes on faster, you know, they look a lot nicer, you know, I could feel a little better in it. So we all have to be mindful of what we do because although we may not be Dame Dash debt-like, we still don't want to be average debt-like. $2,500 can be a death for a lot of people in their budget. Like sometimes I even had sat back and done it where it was hard to get and hold on to $2,500. It was hard to get and hold on to $1,000. Because you know that they say more than half the people in the country don't have over $1,000 in their bank account. Because I'm here to tell you, even me, I used to work doubles, triples, it felt like. And for some reason, even after the taxes and stuff, I would still have a good piece of money, but I just could never hold on to it. And one of the reasons I couldn't hold on to it was because I was spending it before I got it. You ever think to yourself, before you get your check, it might be like how today is Monday, and you already got planned out what's coming up for Thursday. Some people get paid on Thursday. Some of y'all use Chime, I don't know, whatever, get paid on tonight or something, But either way, just think about it. You start thinking. If you got a mortgage or rent, you got your cell phone bill. You got cable bill. That's why I got rid of it. Just got internet. You got your car note. You got your kids. And importantly, you still got yourself. But you don't have any money. Or you're running out of money. We're going to talk about that later on this week too. About our obsession to gambling. That really isn't making us any money. But hey, we got time for that. We got time for that later on in this week. But what I want you to think about is, how are you going to keep yourself out of debt? $25 million of that damn debt, I can't even imagine. I don't know what he's going to do, how he's going to get out of it. But, whatever. But hey, you already know what I think. Because guess what? Guess what happened on Thursday? The Eagles won. So, if you're with me, say, oh, yeah, we having church, we ain't going nowhere. And for the other teams that won, hey, yeah, okay. Great for you, too. But hey, y'all know how we do. Until the next time we meet, live life. Don't let life live you.